What's going on, everybody? This is Alex Williams. You listen to Walking the Floor.
I'm walking the floor over you.
Walking the floor.
I'm walking the floor. Walking the floor over you.
Hola, senors and senoritas. This is Chris Shiflett, and you are listening to another fine episode of Walking the Floor, coming to you live from my hotel room in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. I'm here to report that America is cold, baby. It's cold out here. It's freezing, literally freezing, and I'm from California. I don't know how to handle it. I didn't pack right. I didn't bring the right jacket. I didn't bring the right pants. I had to buy some gloves in Des Moines. I got some nice gloves, though. They're nice. They keep my hands warm now. We had a great day off in Des Moines the other day. We played soccer out at the Soccer House. Thank you, Soccer House, for hosting us. We got a bunch of our usual crew out there. Plus, we got Jed, bass player from the Struts, and we got Tommy that works with the Struts too. We got my main man Nate Mendel out there. Jed and Nate formed this bass player attack front line striker, team. It's awesome. We had a crazy show there last night too. For those of you that were in attendance, Dave's voice was super duper thrash, but God, he pulled it off. I don't know how he does that, but he turned it into an awesome show. And we'll see what happens tonight in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, baby. Oh, I'm a little crusty this morning. It's been a weird week. Weird week for politics, man. Had that crazy Donna Brazile excerpt from her book where she throws everybody under the bus. Hillary, the DNC, Obama, Debbie Wasserman Schultz. Didn't quite know what to make of that. And then you had some big Democratic wins in Virginia and New Jersey, where a couple of milquetoast corporate Democrats got elected to be governor. You had some good progressive wins elsewhere. And then I read there was this Washington Post poll that suggests that if the election were held right now, a year into Trump's presidency, that Trump would still beat Clinton, which I thought was really fascinating. It seems to me, I'm like a lefty, right? And I'm way to the left of the sort of corporate Democrat people that run that party. But it seems to me, as an outsider looking in, that the soul searching that they should have been doing this past year hasn't really done a whole lot to change the sort of status quo of the party. And if I could offer some free advice to the Democratic Party, I'd say, why don't you just look at who the most popular politician in America is right now? That's Bernie Sanders, in case you don't know. And just emulate his policy ideas. But you'd have to do it sincerely. You'd have to actually mean it. That's the problem. That's the problem with those corporate Dems. They don't mean it. Well, that's my political rant for the day. But one other thing, I feel like I would be remiss if I didn't say something about that horrific shooting down in the church in Texas last weekend. It is so saddening to me as an American citizen that these kind of mass shootings happen with such regularity that it's hard to even keep track of them anymore. And over, every time people say, oh, this is going to be the thing, this is going to be the tipping point, it's going to be the time that we change and we all get, some good gun regulations on the books that solve this thing. And it never frickin' happens. And how in 2017... we still can't have a rational, logical discussion in this country about how to curb gun violence is just frickin' beyond me. Look, it's real simple. In countries that don't allow their citizenry to have easy access to weapons like we do, they don't have these mass shootings. They don't have the gun violence that we have in this country. So for the majority of us here that support gun regulation, that don't want to see these things happen over and over, that don't equate your stockpile of bullets with freedom, let's just make these NRA nut jobs irrelevant. How that happens, I don't know, but I have no idea how this teeny tiny sliver of the population here has such outsized power. I mean, I get it. It's the NRA is a lobbying wing of the gun manufacturing industry, and they've got a lot of money, and they put a lot of pressure on our elected officials. But the rest of us need to put that same pressure on our elected officials and make their voices irrelevant. That's it. Okay, this is a little bit of an odd segue, but let's go to Zounds.com and sell some music gear, people. Come on. Sorry, I was getting a little heavy there, but I couldn't help myself. Zounds.com. It is your place for all your music gear needs online. I just hung with Billy and Chris from Zounds.com when we played in Champaign. They're great people. They're not salespeople, they're musicians. We talk gear, that's what we do, and they want to talk gear with you. So get on over to Zounds.com and get what you need. Okay, let's get on over the interview. All right, so my guest today on Walking the Floor is Mr. Alex Williams, a young up-and-comer that recently put out his debut record called Better Than Myself on Big Machine. You may recall that a week or two ago I was sort of marooned in Nashville when we had to postpone some shows, and so I wound up scheduling a bunch of interviews, and Alex was nice enough to come by my hotel room, and we sat down and had a really great chat. You know, it's kind of it can be difficult when you're interviewing somebody that only has one album out because, there isn't that much to talk to. It's like somebody that has like 10 albums out or whatever. But Alex and I got right into it. He's a great dude, great singer-songwriter, and I think you're really going to dig this one. This is Alex Williams on Walking the Floor. So I was reading your bio, getting ready for this, and I was so stoked to read that you grew up listening to metal. Yeah. It's such an odd thing for like a guy your age, and with the. I mean, I guess it's not that odd. You're a musician and all, and we all listen to like a wide array of stuff. But I mean, I was like a total heavy metal kid when I was growing up. And I think I read in there it was like your dad's records or something. I'm guessing your dad's probably like my age or something, was probably listening to more or less the same shit that I was listening to in the early mid 80s or whatever.
Yeah, the 80s hair metal stuff.
So like what would have been in his record collection that you were listening to?
He did like the LA Guns and Cinderella and Rat and all that stuff, and he listened to a bunch of that, and we went out and saw. He took me, I think my first concert was like Motley Crue.
Really? Yeah. Nice.
So luckily I got saved and started listening to Billy Joe Shaver and Waylon.
Do you ever feel like some of that shit turns up in your music a little bit? Or
No,
like, did you go through a phase when you were playing of like woodshedding Rat songs and stuff like that?
No. I mean,
were you already through with that?
Like originally, I was given a Schecter guitar, so I was like badly trying to learn those songs over too much distortion. Yeah. And then I know we still listen to some of that in the van and stuff.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Not too much anymore.
Yeah, I know. It's funny with a lot of that stuff. I mean, and I say this like I unashamedly like grew up listening to all that stuff. You know what I mean? But it's funny how like a lot of it, I still have like a nostalgic attachment to it. Yeah. But I don't really ever go there. Right. I never really seek that out in my Spotify. That much.
Yeah, it's there. So,
anywho, let's talk about your record, Better Than Myself, which this is your debut record, right?
Yeah.
I didn't know if you had, a lot of people have like a indie record that's doesn't really exist in the digital world, so I didn't know if it was anything like that. But this is your first record.
Yeah, the first one. Yeah.
How did that come about for you?
Well, I was with an old band or a band in the past for about 5 years, and we didn't have a bass player. It was like a keyboard player, Strat player, drummer, acoustic, and it was a strange thing. We played a bunch, and I was ready to do my own thing, and started it's just writing more songs and really getting down to kind of what I wanted to put out there, and ended up meeting Julian, who produced my album at Big Machine, and we did it, man.
How's that work? Is the guy that produced your record, is he like a house producer at Big Machine? Like, did he sign you as well? Because I always read about that with like country artists, like the guy that signs them winds up producing the record, and you don't really hear that too much in like rock music. It's not like that. Like,
yeah, I mean, I think he came from Los Angeles. He did like the last Glenn Campbell record, done Roseanne Cash and stuff, and but
does he work for Big Machine? Or
he does.
Okay,
he does.
Yeah.
So, and he's a great guy, and good producer. So,
and who played on that record?
Tom Bukovac played on there. Danny Dugmore on steel.
I don't really know Bukovac personally. I've met him a couple times because our
he's on the road
keyboardist
with
was
Joe
friendly
Walsh
with him.
right now.
Yeah. But that guy's a ridiculous guitar player, man.
Yeah, I think he just closed that guitar shop.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, had some gems in there.
Yeah,
for
sure.
But no, it was a great lineup of people, and we all tracked live, and it was awesome, man.
What was that like to go from, like this being your first? I assume it's not the first time you're in the studio, but like the first time you're making like a proper record. I mean, what was that like to be in there with all these A-list players?
Man, it was cool. I really appreciated not having to just overdub everything and just how a lot of the time it's done where they track the songs and the artist comes in and just lays down. I mean, it was awesome to be able to play the songs. Yeah.
And were you singing along?
Yeah,
and, like getting live takes kind of thing?
Yeah. But some of it, we vocals we overdubbed and stuff,
Sure.
but the basic tracks and stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was great.
It's all coming together like in the room.
Yeah, man.
How much do your songs change from, what you're bringing into the studio to what comes out the other end?
Man, I didn't expect it to turn out the way it did, I mean, I was really happy with the turnout, but, going in, originally I thought it was going to be more of a stripped down thing, and it turned out to be better than what I expected, so that was cool, man.
I mean, Big Machine's known as a mainstream country label more, and your record to me doesn't sound like that. It sounds a little like something different for that label.
I was pretty fucking surprised. Dude.
Really? Right. Well, I mean, my question is, and I've been wondering this for a while, at what point this was going to happen, but do you think that the mainstream country music business side of things is being affected or influenced by guys like Sturgill Simpson, Chris Stapleton? I mean, clearly Chris Stapleton, obviously, but do you think some of the more like, Jason Isbell, Sturgill Simpson type artists are reflecting back on mainstream country music?
I would say so. I mean,
like, you know what I mean? Do you think like 5 years ago that they would have been interested in an artist like you?
No, I mean, that makes a lot of sense. They've definitely helped out, kind of turn the tide a little bit. I mean, when I hear like, they're saving country music and it's coming back around. It's like, man, even in the 70s and stuff, there was outlaw country. There was what they call pop country. It's always been there. Always.
So, you go back as far as there's been country music.
Yeah,
there's
man.
been that sort of divide.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. I think there's a lot more quality stuff out there than there has been in the past.
Right.
I don't listen to the radio that much, but it's awesome to be given a shot at it, a place like that.
Well, I'm curious, like, what sort of lane are they marketing you as? Like, are they sending you out to like mainstream country music radio stations and that sort of thing, or is it like are they more sort of alt country Americana?
It's kind of like a side thing going on where they're just kind of letting me do my own thing and build it on the road. I've got they're playing a couple of tunes on Serious Outlaw or whatever.
Right, sure. Yeah.
Didn't do the mainstream push, which is kind of cool, man. I mean, that's everything that I listen to and I'm inspired by is, not really played on mainstream radio, so it's good to be kind of in that lane and just doing stuff like that. So,
and who are you out there touring with?
We're out there with Blackberry Smoke right now. We've been on the tour with them and Aaron Lewis.
Nice.
So doing that.
Those must be big shows. Like, how's that going?
Going really good, man. I mean,
what's that adjustment like for you, learning how to be up in front of a big crowd like that?
Well, I mean, we've probably been touring with Aaron for about a year now, and then this tour just started.
Okay, so they had you out on the road because your record just came out in August, right?
Yeah. So I was out before I had anything. I didn't have any merch at all. I had a business card with my email.
Right.
So people are like, "Where the fuck?"
Man, you better yell at your manager. Don't put you out on the road with no merch, man.
Where the fuck? Where's your music at? I'm like, it hasn't been recorded yet.
Yeah. Feel free to tape it.
Yeah, man.
Was your record already made? Like, were you already kind of solid in what you were doing?
It was done, but it didn't come out till this August. So this past August. So.
That's really interesting because that seems like sort of the opposite of how a lot of country artists get sort of marketed, where it's like put out a single, see if it hits, then put you on the road.
Yeah. It was definitely an interesting way of going about it. But I mean, being out with Blackberry Smoke, I've been a fan of what they do since the first album, you know, and I love the fringe, the way it's supposed to be done.
Yeah.
You know, Southern rock there.
It's a trip being on stage playing songs that people haven't heard.
Yeah.
That's definitely, you know, I mean, I experienced that with my own sort of side solo stuff that I do.
man.
You know, I put out an album in the spring.
Yeah,
and-
that's great, man.
Oh, thank you,
Really,
thank you.
yeah.
I was fishing for that.
Yeah. It
But
sucks,
the
man.
only
I'm just kidding.
the only time I had to go out and do a quick tour,
Yeah.
because I was in the middle of making the new Foo Fighter record, was
yeah.
was actually before my record came out.
Yeah.
And so we just went out and just played the whole new record, and that was pretty much the set.
Yeah.
But it was like to rooms full of people that had never heard any of the songs.
Right,
So
yeah.
it's a very different experience
Yeah,
to like
yeah.
going out and playing, you know,
Yeah.
songs that everybody knows and sings along to, and
Yeah.
and all that sort of thing. I mean, what was that like for you with like your you know, your sort of crowd wrangling skills? It must have been good for you, I'm guessing.
Yeah, it is good, man. I mean, I think with the band that I'm on the road with and my actual, you know, those guys that have been with me for a while, I mean, it's a lot different than what the album sounds like in a good way too. It's
Really?
more raw and a lot heavier than what we got out on the record.
Things get louder and a little,
Yeah,
little more
yeah, for
distorted and all
sure.
that sort of thing.
Next album will definitely be more of just us four,
Yeah.
us five. We add a steel guy, but yeah, man, it's been good. We got going out with Whitey Morgan in December.
Oh,
I saw
nice.
hanging
Yeah.
with him last night.
That
He
makes sense.
Told me to tell you hi.
Oh no, is he in town right now?
Well, Cody played at the Ryman last night.
Oh really?
They
Oh,
did
okay, I
two
didn't know
nights
that.
of the Ryman. So,
Oh man, I wish I'd known that because we got
Yeah.
into town. We had to cancel a show yesterday.
Yeah.
You know, like we were talking about. But
Yeah,
and I was here, but I didn't realize that was happening.
Yeah, so looking forward to that.
So
it'd be
what
great.
what does your label like? What does a big label like the one that you're on expect from a young artist like you? What's the responsibility that comes along with getting a record deal with the label like that?
You know, I don't really know, man. I mean, I don't, man. I mean, just like all I feel that we have control over is just putting on a great show every
Right.
night and building it, you know, the way it's supposed to be built. You know,
Right.
not just going from bottom to top quickly.
But do
You
they
know,
get
it's a long
involved
road.
in everything, every sort of aspect of your career? Are they actively involved in getting you out on the road and finding tours for you,
Yeah, they're
working with your booking agent, your manager, like all that stuff?
Yeah, definitely, man. I mean, it's, you know, meeting Aaron last year has kind of opened up a lot of doors too, because we've been able to do some stuff with Hank and Skinner and obviously this BBS thing. So
How do those folks? What do they make of you?
Man,
how have you been received by some of those legends?
it's been good, man. I mean, they've still got it, even though, you know, Skinner,
Yeah.
even with only one or two, if you count Johnny, who
Right.
joined in the '80s, but they still fucking kill it. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's been going over good. So
Well, with your label, like, and them, like, you know, being involved in obviously all the stuff you do. Like, if you had to say no to anything big yet, yeah, I'm wondering how a young artist in this business like carves out a little bit of power for
Yeah.
himself.
oh man,
Has there been any moment where you're like, no, dude, I'm not doing that?
yeah, no, I mean it's been good because they've just kind of let me do my own thing and just let me build it, and they haven't really told me to do anything at all, man,
Right,
which has
right.
been a blessing and a curse, you know, because I'm still blind to, you know, it's nice to have some direction once in a while, but we're doing pretty good.
Yeah.
Just kind of, you know, it helps that the album's out now and we don't just
Yeah,
have a
yeah.
business card, like I said. So.
Yeah, now you got a stack of CDs
Yeah.
and some T-shirts to go with
Yeah,
it too,
some
man.
T-shirts,
Yeah.
man. So no, it's been really good to build it that way. And
Well, let's
so-
back up a little bit. Like, where'd you grow up? Where are you from?
I'm from Pendleton, Indiana, man.
Okay.
So it's a little north of Indianapolis.
All right. What's that like? What was your childhood like?
Pretty basic, you know.
Right.
You know, I started playing in the local bars when I was about 16, I'd say, and.
But even before that, like was your family musical? What got you into music?
Man, nobody
besides
was.
your dad's heavy metal records.
Yeah. Nobody was musical at all, man. in my
Nobody else
family.
played?
No. I just, I guess once I started, my grandparents turned me on to Dreaming My Dreams and Redheaded Stranger, both coming out 75. You know, those were the two that.
I mean, I see your Waylon tattoo right there, so that
yeah.
must have left a big impression on
You
you. I'm
flip it
guessing.
over, it's Mariah Carey.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just fucking with you. No, yeah, man, it's nobody was musical in my family, and I just started doing it, and
Like, how old were you when you started playing guitar and singing and stuff?
I started attempting to play guitar when I was about 11 or 12, and had this whole crate Electra
Nice.
thing, put the
And a
Kiss stickers all over it and
Yeah,
stuff,
nice.
you know, and no, started taking it seriously when I was about 16 or 17. Started writing, and yeah, man.
So writing and playing in bands kind of went hand in hand for you?
Yeah, man, it definitely. I feel like I've tried to suck less over the years. You know,
It's a good goal to have.
yeah, man.
Yeah.
So it's
I mean, how do you think your
it's
writing
been
has changed over the years or developed, or is it the same?
well, I think it just comes with learning how to be inspired, you know, by music, and not just writing for the sake of doing it. You know,
Right.
I mean, I've started listening to a lot of different types of music, and you know, I'm inspired by obviously country music, but a lot of Texas singer-songwriters as well, like Guy Clark and
Sure.
Towns, and so there. I mean, it's just a wide palette, and I feel like I've just found myself a little bit more over the years, and it's definitely affected the songwriting part.
I
of
read that
things.
Guy
Yeah.
Clark biography.
Yeah, me
Did
too,
you read
man.
that?
It was
Yeah,
great.
great.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
paints a very romantic picture of Nashville
Yeah.
during that time in
Yeah.
the 70s and through the 80s
man,
and all that
that's
stuff.
great.
That I love that the idea of like his house being sort of a writer's salon, you know, where people would just show up and everybody would be
Yeah,
Rodney
man.
Crowell and Steve Earle and
Yeah,
Towns
you
and all
can't
these
find
guys
that anymore,
you know?
man. You can't-
Really?
well, you can't do that, man.
You need to start that.
I know.
We're doing it at your
I
house.
know, man. There's not. I haven't seen in Heartworn Highways. You know, have you seen that?
Yeah, yeah.
You know, Christmas Eve, sitting around the table, you know, oil lamps everywhere.
It's funny, man. I didn't have that growing up at all either, man. It's so funny.
Yeah.
Like the scene that I was sort of around musically
Yeah.
in those formative years as a teenager, nobody was ever sitting around jamming. There was no campfire fucking hoedown guitar pulls
Right.
going on around my
Right.
friends. As a matter of fact, that kind of shit was frowned upon because it was like hippie shit.
Was it really?
And everybody was
Yeah.
like, fuck that hippie shit. You know what I mean? And I'm so bummed
Yeah.
that we weren't all sitting around doing that, man. I feel like I missed something.
Yeah. Well, you're from California.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's awesome out there, man.
Have you toured out there much?
Yeah, we did. We've done. I think we just played in Turlock. Turlock, it's like kind of a small town place, but we did like Ventura and
Oh, okay.
and,
That's not far from where I grew
Riverside
up.
and all that up there last year.
Have you played Pappy and Harriet's yet?
No, man, up in
Oh.
Joshua Tree. I've been there and drank beer.
Oh, have you?
Whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, that's where you got to play. Man.
Yeah.
That's the spot.
Yeah, it looks
That's like the
badass.
best venue on the West
Yeah,
Coast,
it looks
man.
killer.
Hands down.
Yeah. So. It's definitely
Okay,
on the
so
list.
so you're getting into high school. You're starting to write songs. You're starting to play in bands. What are your early band experiences kind of like?
Well, I actually didn't really have a band until I got to college.
Oh, okay.
I was playing solo. My cousin owned a shrimper bar in Sargent, Texas, which is south of Houston. I went down there a bunch and
Were you going to college down there?
No, I was going to college in Nashville, but this was when I was about 16 or 17, just starting out.
Okay.
So my first gigs were just down there on the deck in the bay. So I just go back between
okay.
Indiana and Texas and play. And I guess that's what got me into all the songwriters down there.
Right. Who turned you on to that? I mean, is there still like a real? I know Texas has a very sort of insular country music scene.
Yeah, it is.
And I know people from Texas love Texas music. So
Yeah, for sure.
Is that how you got turned? Was it like people down there? They still wear Jeff Walker and Town and all these guys?
There's like it's a fishing town down there, so and it's such a strange place, but has this charm, man. It's just I met so many people down there that was like, hey man, you got to check out Guy Clark, man. You got to check out Billy Joe Shaver. And I was like,
Yeah.
when I started hearing that, I was like, fuck, man, I gotta get into this.
This is my shit.
This is it, man. So
when you went to college, you're going to college in Nashville. Was it that Belmont?
Yeah, I went there for a year.
Seems like that's a pass through for a lot of people that wind up,
Yeah, and I thought like a major in songwriting, man, and that's a strange thing to have. It helped out.
Is that a major?
It is, yeah, and it's I'm not sure if they still have it now, but it's hard to get educated, book wise, on
how do they teach that?
I think they have I can't remember. They had a bunch of. It was cool,
Is it like a creative writing
class? It was awkward,
class,
man. They had a bunch of, men and women around a table with guitars and stuff, and they're like, "Hey, write this verse within 10 minutes about this," and I was just like, man, it seemed a little contrived to me.
But is it priming people not so much to do what you do, but to go be part of the sort of songwriting culture of Nashville?
Yeah,
man, that sort of thing, doing co-writes and all that sort of stuff.
Not to bash that by any means, but it's very focused towards the machine that's going on.
Yeah,
in Nashville as far as that goes, and I just felt contrived, man. I quit college to play at Tootsie's, thinking that was the ticket to the top. And,
it worked.
It was definitely a good place to get exposure.
And for
on
people
stage.
listening that don't know about Tootsie's is one of the bars down on Broadway.
Yeah,
it's
man.
like one of those cover bar kind of places, right?
And luckily, I didn't get roped into doing the music that I don't want to play. We had kind of the earlier shifts where it was still traditional.
It seems
Jimmy
like
Snyder and stuff.
Anytime I'm down there, just walking around or whatever, all I hear coming out of those bars is like Merle Haggard and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So is it still sort of centered on that kind of traditionalist country?
No, I mean, man, it's changed a lot over the year. I mean, at least when I walk by it, I spent a lot of time at Layla's and Roberts and stuff because it's. They stay very true to that.
Yeah.
But it's changed a bunch. I would have loved to be there in 1969 or.
Sure. Yeah. Were those bars not even like cover bars back then? Were they just was that just kind of where you went to get a gig to make it? Because now it seems like that's where you get a gig. Well, it seems more like a dead end now. And then I don't live here and I don't really know the scene, but that's what what I mean. It doesn't feel like people playing in those bars.
Well, yeah, back
are on
then,
track to get a record deal and do that whole thing. You know what I mean?
Back then, I'm not sure if it was just all cover gigs. I think it was just a place for primarily a bar. That's where Willie and Roger Miller used to go hang out there.
Sure.
And I'm pretty sure he lived in the bedroom above Tootsie's at one point. And but it used to be a lot different than what it is. So.
Well, so how'd you wind up, if you're doing that kind of thing, how'd you wind up getting your record deal? Well, let's back up a little bit. So you had a band, but at what point did you go solo, and then how did that lead into you getting a record deal?
Well, I just came to a point where I wasn't fulfilled by the music that we were doing, and
was it the same type of thing?
Yeah, and no, not really. It was different.
Yeah.
All of those guys were great jazz players,
Right.
So it had that influence, and it just wasn't really what I wanted to do. And I've always wanted to be my own artist,
Yeah.
But I learned a lot from those guys, just playing with them so much, but yeah, the Better Than Myself song came inspired from what my drummer said to me. He was pissed off at me. He was like, "Man, your fucking songs are better than you are, man." I was like, "Oh, that sucks to hear, but I'll write that down." And
what did he mean by that?
I'm not really sure, man.
Right.
I think
I mean, granted, I only met you 20 minutes ago, but you seem like a pretty nice guy.
Your songs are better than you are as a person. I was confused about that. I'm like, shit, man. Maybe he's right.
Man, I'm fucking up. Fuck.
No. So it sucked to hear, but I don't know. It did. I decided to name the album that, not just because of what he said, but it just kind of signified a new beginning for me as an artist, and just felt right for the project. So.
Well, how long were you doing that? After you quit the band and just decided to go solo, how long was it before you wound up getting your deal?
I think I had moved on in October from that band, and I think I signed on with Big Machine in March.
Oh, so it was pretty quick.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like
pretty
another
quick.
like 10 years of toiling in obscurity, like it was.
Yeah. And I had like 60 or 70 songs that I had, put down with Julian prior to that, and I just kind of picked out the 12 that I figured would be the best. And
oh shit! So you got a bunch of albums worth of tunes ready to go.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't say the songs are all there,
Right,
but
right.
yeah, I mean, there's got a lot of material and write all the time. So,
Do you manage to continue to write even when you're doing all this other stuff, out promoting your record and touring?
Yeah. I mean, Mike, my guitar player, he and I are inspired by the same thing. So we write all the time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You write together?
Yeah, we write all the time, man. So it's nice to keep it rolling, man.
Yeah.
It's and get a lot of fucking anxiety, just when I'm not writing.
Yeah.
It's just like, fuck, man, I'm falling behind. I gotta
Right.
I need to read some more books or something,
Man,
man.
maybe
Get
that totally. Yeah, maybe that Belmont
Yeah.
class did something for you.
Maybe, I
Yeah.
don't know, man. Yeah, so, but we're staying busy playing and writing and looking forward to doing the next project. I think it's going to be a great depiction of what we do live. So,
Are you going to record it with your touring band?
yeah, I am.
Nice.
Yeah.
What's your next year look like? Are you just going to be road dogging it from now till?
Yeah, we're on the this Blackberry Smoker and Lewis tour until November 17th, and then we do those 3 shows with Whitey at the end of the year.
Nice.
New Year's Eve and Flint shows, Machine Shop.
Yeah, cool.
So,
And then when do you think you're going to get back in the studio?
I'm not sure, man. Hopefully next fall. It'll be a while.
Right,
right.
right.
We'll see. So, we got a lot of shows to play until then.
A lot of work to do.
Yeah,
a lot of
to do.
ground to cover.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
We're just getting rolling. So,
Nice.
yeah.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing what you wind up doing, man.
Yeah, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
It's always cool
Yeah.
to see like a young artist, just at the very beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah,
man. So, it's awesome to be able to do this, man.
Well, would you like to sing a song?
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's do it.
Pop open this case. Ready? I'm gonna do a song called Better Than Myself right here. Well, I was told not long ago that my songs are better than myself. Someone told me not long ago that my songs are better than myself. That the reckless way I'm living, it don't match my melodies. That the written words I'm singing, they ain't got no honesty. It's all candy from a jukebox that's burning down in hell. They said my songs better than myself. Well, I was told not long ago my songs are better than myself. 'Cause every song comes from the heart, and my heart must be stronger than my health. And I'll stay up till the sunrise just looking for a rhyme. And I like getting drunk until it's just about showtime. Some nights upon this stage I'm a hard act to sell. Thank God my songs better than myself. Truth be told, in every note I play, truth be told, I don't care what you say. was told not long ago, my songs are better than myself. So if you're still listening right now, I'd say this song is doing pretty well. You might hear it on some old jukebox that's burning down in hell, where my songs are better than myself. Yeah, all my songs are better than myself.
That's fantastic, man. Thanks,
you, man. Oh, dude, thank you, man.
You know, I realized sitting there looking at you playing that song on that beautiful Gibson, I didn't ask you anything about gear.
Yeah.
Like, do you have like any kind of like magic special guitar or is that it?
No, dude, I actually just got this, man.
Nice.
I can't. I have a 1950 Gibson J50, and it's starting to split a little bit, so I had to
retire.
Kind of use this out on the road, you know, because I don't. I feel like it's gonna snap in half mid song.
How do you? What do you use to put your guitar through the PA? Because that's been like the bane of my existence is forever. I feel like acoustic guitar never sounds good through the PA. What's your trick?
Well, obviously I just do the DI with that, but I play a Telly as well. It's a 59 Relic, custom shop through the 67 Pro reverb.
Yeah.
Had a little phaser on there.
Nice.
Go.
Yeah. The Waylon trick. I love that.
Well, yeah. He really, I mean, if you listen to a lot of his records, it was, they're really subtle, man. Like, you know?
Well,
it's
Steve
like you
Earle,
can barely hear it.
I interviewed Steve Earle recently, and I asked him about that because he does that on his new record.
Oh, yeah, that's great.
It's a
great record.
Yeah.
Love
but
it.
he said that that Waylon had a phase. He didn't say phase 90. I think he said phase 45 with the dial turned all the way down, so it's just like as slow as possible.
Yeah.
Which I think sounds about right.
Yeah, it does. If you at some points, it can get a little much. I got to be like, all right, dude, I got to cut this out a little bit. But I usually just use a small stone. Or whatever.
Awesome, man. Well, thank you so much for coming and doing this today, man.
Hey, thanks for having me, man. Appreciate it.
I assume you skipped church this morning to come here. So
I did, and in the past 2 or 3 years as well. So.
Awesome, man.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, take care.
My boots like snare drums on the front porch.
All right, that was Alex Williams on Walking the Floor. Make sure you check out his debut record, Better Than Myself. And while you're at it, get on over to alexwilliamsofficial.com. Check out what he's up to. I know he's got a bunch of tour dates through the rest of the year and probably beyond that. Buy his tickets, buy his t-shirts, buy his CDs, stream his music, blah, 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 blah. That's it for this week. Don't forget, as always, get on over to Spotify. Follow the Walking the Floor with Chris Shiflett playlist. It's all your favorite songs. All you got to do is follow it. And don't forget also to get on over to the iTunes store and leave us a review and a rating and all that sort of stuff. It really helps. All right, everybody. We'll see you next week. Adios, amigos!